Murahoneza. Welcome to the Open Floor podcast. This is where we talk about the stories and we feel them. I have a guest here with me, a person whom I feel that she has pain and she has power over it. In other words, I can say also the resilience is in this story. This is none other than Miss or Madame Solange. Well, they normally say that somebody does introduction well when they're given the floor. So please introduce yourself and thank you so much for coming.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Solange Ayanone. I'm the managing director of AfriMedia Limited. It's a company. We do consultancy in media and communication. I'm as well as a journalist. Yes, I'm in this sector since 1992. So now 34 years in the media sector as a journalist, as a leader in some media houses, private and public. So this is who I am.
All right, thank you so much. And that's just a brief of her. I mean, like, look at her 34 years. This is something else. And you're an inspiration to many people. And I think I'm one of the people who inspire a lot. So, yeah, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming. And thank you for coming to this very podcast. Yeah, so I was likely to ask you a few, and I would want also to know a lot, not me alone, maybe even the audience who are going to be watching this podcast are going to definitely have some questions to have. Before we go deeper, who is Solange?
I'm a mother. First of all, I'm a mother of 4, and I have also a grandchild. So I'm a woman, a normal woman, ordinary woman, and also I'm a journalist. Like I said, I'm a journalist. This is the important thing, because this is the work I have been doing since many years, 34 years, as I said. So I like journalism as a job, and was my even wish since I was really a child. A teen. When people start to think what I will do, every time people asked me what are you going to do, I used to say I will be a journalist since I was in primary school. And I also liked to follow journalists on radio, because the radio was the most common media in that period. The reason why I really enjoyed to become a journalist after my studies. So I'm what else? No other more. And also I worked as a journalist, but also as a trainer in with various media organizations. I'm a trainer for Wanifra Women in News. It's an organization that capacitates women in media. Also, I worked with the IWMF, International Women Foundation, and Media Foundation. So I also worked as a correspondent of international media like DW, German radio, as a correspondent in French department. And also I am now a manager and the founder of AfriMedia, which is my own company. After some more than 25 years in media, I started to work for my own, so that I can also try to capacitate my other people, other young journalists, by training them, by coaching them, by mentoring them. I think this is who I am.
All right, that's powerful. Well, maybe many people see the strength, but they always don't see where you begin or where you began at the earlier. So what part of early life shaped the woman you are today?
It's when I was a child, my father, we were 6 girls and 1 boy. But in that period, a family with many girls was not really well seen in the society. Yeah. And my father always liked to encourage me, saying to us girls that whatever your brother can do, you can do also. So he's the one who encouraged me to have courage to always try difficult assignments, because he was someone who who showed me that what a man can do, a woman also can do. So this is really what motivated me. Then when I did my studies, my secondary school, because I joined media after doing only secondary school, I got, I think, two opportunities of job. Because I didn't do journalism as I was in my senior school, my secondary school. I did economics. And but after finishing my secondary school, I said I want to join a school of journalism. In Rwanda, there was no school of journalism, so I searched at the international level. Then I got an inscription in one of Belgium universities in that period, 1991. And they told me, before you join, it's better you start also to exercise, maybe with the media. So this is when I joined the national radio in that period, asking to have an internship. Then I had an internship there. Then after I continued as a journalist, because I love this job. It's not something I do like for me to have on fun or money. So I do it because I love it, and I'm not in reporting on a daily reporter or in media directly, but I always have a talk show or where I deliver as a journalist, so that I cannot be outside of this job. This is how I joined, because I loved this job. It's a job that has many risks, but it's a job that can give you exposure to different people, to different situations, to different contexts. It's a job that it always give you updates. You are always updated, even if you are getting old, but you are always updated.
Yeah. All right. So this one brings me to the main thing that I came actually to you. This is the genocide experience. Well, people do not know that maybe you're a survivor. And now that this part of your story carries deep weight, and want to approach it in a very respectful way towards you. I know it's so sensitive in that it needs to be questioned or asked in a way that other people will also understand that it was once a pain and now you turned it to a powerful. As a survivor, if you feel comfortable sharing, what is one memory from that time has always stayed with you? Like you don't feel like, even if you want to forget, it's not that easy for you to forget.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to clarify something. There are people we call survivors of 1994 genocides. So those are the people who were persecuted, who were killed in 1994 genocide against Tutsi, and I'm not among that category of people who were really persecuted. But because I had maybe I call it a chance, I had a chance to have a mixed family, so which both ethnic were there. So my family is a mixture of both ethnics here in Rwanda, Tutsi and Hutu, but we belong to the ethnic of our father. So I was not among those people were persecuted, but I was in Rwanda because I was born here. And I'm still here in Rwanda. So I'm not a survivor, but I'm a Rwandese who was affected by the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. Even if I was not really a survivor, I'm not a survivor, but we have survivors, people on the side of my mother whom were really, some were killed, like my grandmother, and also my cousins, because our family was a mixed, and we lost many people. So somehow I was affected by the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. And so coming back to your question, we were really Rwandese. We are a society that is fragile. And something I had a chance to not, I was not here in 1994 from April to July. I was not in, I was in Rwanda, but in a region that was controlled by the UN. I don't know if you know the background, but in Rwanda, when the liberation war started in 1990, they there were some regions that were taken by the RPA in that period, and the government of Rwanda was not able to control in that period. But in a Arusha dialogue, both parties agreed that those parts of the country that were controlled by RPA, they have to be controlled by UN. So in April, before the implementation of the 1994 genocide against Tutsi started, I had to go on leave that on 1st April 1994 in that region that was controlled by UN, and so that the dialogue can take place. And then I came back in Kigali after the 1994 genocide. But in that part, when the UN, UN was called, UN militaries were called to leave Rwanda because of the genocide and security. That region where I was taken by RPA in that period. And in that period, there was no genocide. But we were following, as a journalist in that period, I was a journalist for the national radio. We were following everything on the radio, and I was able to follow what my fellow colleagues was publishing, how my fellow colleagues pushed people to kill each other as a journalist. This is something that remains in me. I keep remembering the words that were used by RTLM, the hate speech, that was hate media, used by hate media, encourage people to kill others, showing the location of where the Tutsi were hidden so that they can be killed. Those memories, the words from radio, are I cannot forget, because those were my colleagues. We used to work together. Imagine you are a colleague with someone you used to work together. Then after that person became a tool to kill people. I don't know if you understand. So I cannot forget this. And also, as I said, on the side of my family, we had also some people were killed, and I cannot forget my cousin. My was a cousin of mine. He and my father and his mother are sisters and brother. So we were here in Kigali. My family was here in Kigali, and our cousin came here in Kigali to study. Those people, when you are in Kigali, you receive people from village to come and to study. And my cousin was Tutsi. He came here to study, and he was staying in my family, my father's family, because I was married in that period. And when the hate radio, hate speech, RTLM, I don't know if you know the hate, yes, hate radio. That cousin of mine, when he listened that his father was killed on that radio, RTLM, he left my family where no one knew him. He left my family in Kigali and went to secure his mother. He thought maybe if he went, they will not kill the mother. When but it was after listening at the radio that his father was killed. Said, no, my mom also will be killed. He left my family in Kigali, where he was in total security, to go to secure the mother. Then when he reached there, people knew him. Then they killed him. This one, my cousin Christian, always remember how he was killed because of media. I don't know if you understand how media played a big role in 1994 genocide. This is something I cannot really forget. And we had also my aunties from the sisters of my mother who used to live at our home, who were killed. I always remember they are, when you are children, those
Parents
aunties
pray
or
together.
uncles, they come in your
They, yeah,
family, they teach you history. Those are people when we grew, we saw them. They were part of
the family. Yeah.
our family. So they were killed. And lastly, something that I will never forget is my job after 1994 genocide. When I came back to the radio station, Radio Rwanda, RBNR, National Radio, when I came back, and we had to cover how those memorial sites where people started to initiate them, to take the bodies, to clean them, and to put in a site. And I had to cover a story. It was in Western Province. Then I covered the story where they were putting they where they were taking the bodies and go and clean them, then put them in the sites. I saw a lady. She was killed while she was pregnant, and I don't want to shock anyone. And the baby wanted to come, and the baby didn't come. When a woman is about to deliver, and the the child was killed in
On the way
in
coming
the
out.
way coming out. It's really a mess. Journalists, you have to cover such kind of stories. So I was not able to produce a story that day because of what I have seen. People were killed in a certain way you cannot understand. So that image is still in my mind. Another story is a story of children who were born from rape. I also produced a story. In any genocide, um, the perpetrators, they use rape as a weapon, and when they raped the women, those women, some were killed, others they survived, but they got pregnant. And also another story I produced that really affected me was a story of those kids who were born from rape. Do you imagine a child, she or he didn't ask to born in such kind of context? So I covered that story. Those kids were talking about how the society has rejected them, how they are called kids of evil when they didn't decide to born in such uh, circumstances. And that story also kept somewhere in my mind. It also really affected me. Those are the memories. And also the Jesus Memorial site, when we covered some event, I used to visit the memorial, and that part of children. I don't know if you have visited
Yeah,
the,
I did.
yes, that room of children where you can see photo of children who were killed, and with some description. This kid his maybe his dream was to become maybe a minister, maybe a doctor,
Yeah.
maybe since I visited that memorial, I was covering story, I have never been able to return in that room. So Unfortunately, this is the past, this is the story of Rwanda. So my dear, we are really in a society that is fragile, and we are in these 100 days of remembering. We remember those people we have lost. We remember the journalists who were killed because of being Tutsi or because of the work they used to do. We remember the politicians. Remember everyone who was killed in this 1994 genocide against Tutsi. But it's not easy as a journalist to always every year to cover such kind of story. It's now 32 years covering such kind of stories. You understand how traumatic this can be for many journalists. So this is what I can say on that.
And thank you so much for sharing that. It's not easy and we don't take it lightly. It's something that it has touched me. Even I'm now becoming emotional, and I'm sorry for that. Well, after everything you went through, what did healing look like for you as Solange?
What?
As everything now came, all that, how did healing, or how did you overcome all these things through healing?
Yeah, first of all, is to not focus only on the past, to not forget what happened to our society, but also to move forward. To move forward, maybe because people who were not in maybe persecuted in 1994 genocide, but you can have many people in your family who committed genocide. We had them in our families, people who were in jail, maybe because of they did, maybe because they didn't, uh, because only justice was able to show who was innocent and who was not. So it was not also easy as a Rwandese, any Rwandese. I remember in 1995, I went in Burkina Faso for a training of journalists, and the first question that was asked me by many people, I was say I'm a Rwandese. Everyone, no one wanted to sit with me in 1995. They say, you are a Tutsi, you are a Hutu, you are on the side of people who killed, or you are on the side of people who
Who
were
were
killed. This was the first question people were asking us in 1995, and we even didn't want to say that we are Rwandese. We were ashamed to say that we are coming from a society that where the genocide was committed. So, but after that experience, what really pushed me to move forward is to when in 1994 when the genocide was stopped, when I met again people in my colleagues, people were living in my neighborhood, and when I was seeing that people was alive, were still there. You see your neighbor is still there, you see your colleague is still there. We understood the meaning of life, because there's a certain period where no one this was able, because even when those people who killed Tutsi, even they killed other Hutu who were not who tried to even hide their relatives, their colleagues, they were also killed. It means that no one was really was had a guarantee, because after finishing they could come and kill also others because of money and the other issues. So what really pushed me to move forward is to feel like I'm alive. I live. Other people, 1 million of people have passed on. So why can't I live? This is really what pushed me to live, because I understood the meaning of life. Compared to 1 million of people who were killed, compared to in that period also we had many Rwandese who were outside as in exile. So for me, I decided to live, because I knew that if God allowed me to live, it is for a reason. So it's only that thing that always makes me in the morning, pushes me to wake up in the mornings, because I say life for the Rwandese has a significance. Maybe I don't know for other countries, but for the Rwandese, life has a meaning because we faced a period where no one used to live. In a newsroom, I used to work before 1994, but it was a mess where we were directed to do only what the government wanted. So now I can experience the benefits of being in a media house, decide whatever I can publish, open my own business, do whatever I can do in media. So uh, I understood the meaning of life, what life really means for Rwandese. And I'm not living only for myself or for my children, but I live also because I know that there are a million of people who had no more chance to live. This is something that really pushed me to always, whenever I face a difficulty, when I start to complain, I always remember that there are many people who has no chance to complain now because they were killed. So I have no complaint. I always find a solution. And I am sure that if people liberated this country, we can also, I think you can also find the solutions to our problems. Another thing is our president. I told you in 1995 how people didn't want to sit with me because I was coming from Rwanda.
Rwanda, yeah.
Some years after, as a journalist, we travel a lot. I went back, and whenever I go in any conference, because I have many conferences, we attended many conferences outside of the country. When I said that I'm a Rwandese, now people, everyone wants to greet me, everyone wants to know more about the
About
Rwanda
Rwanda.
because they our president changed the narrative,
the narrative
of
is
this
now
country.
positive, yeah.
It's now a country, a positive country. You're living here, you see whatever you can
Yeah.
see. It's a peaceful country. It's a country where everyone can really be be can want to live in. It's a
Exactly.
country
So peaceful.
peaceful,
Security is
security,
okay.
cleanliness.
You can
Where,
even sleep on the road.
oh yes,
Nobody's going to
no one
touch
will
you.
come. Yes, there are
Yeah.
some people can rob, but it's not
Like a lot,
systematized
yeah.
like in other
Other
countries.
countries, yeah.
So our president also kept motivating us that Rwandese, if you decided to leave, you will leave. You young people, if you, because in 1995 I was so young, I was 23, and now I'm 50 something. So in that period, our leaders encouraged a
You,
lot
yeah.
and pushed us to live, say no, you cannot accept to die. If you are alive, you have to live, you have to push, you have to find solution. So the leadership, the political will was there, and I catched the opportunities that were there, because normally me, I'm a French speaker. I didn't speak English,
English, yeah.
but I saw the opportunity to learn how I can shift and learn English so that I am not left behind.
Exactly.
So it was not easy,
It was not easy.
but I did. So these inspirations really helped me, government inspirations, and also the resilience of survivors. It's something you see someone with no children, no kids, no husband, and that person is smiling. For me, I said, um, I, I don't have even any complaint, because even people who lost everything, they can smile. How come you not smile? How come you say no? You will always complain when you see the all the benefits that God gave you. Lastly, um, I started also to pray a lot after 1994, because before I was not really a Christian who used to go in church and pray, but also pray, um, praying for me, um, practicing the Christianism for me was also another uh, uh, powerful tool that helped me to look forwards and to struggle and find solution.
Thank you so much. I mean, maybe now that you have said all the stories and all the way, the journey of being a journalism and all that, do you think that that one has shaped the way you normally tell stories as a journalist? You know, you've been into stories of the survivors. You've been, as you said, you went to the genocide memorial place and all that. So, like, does that one or has that one affected the way you normally tell stories as a journalist?
No, because for me, I think journalism has a standards. It's an international standards.
Yeah.
Um, you have to respect the standards, the norms, the rules, and by covering such kind of stories, um, what it they helped me maybe to see the world in a different perspective, to see the world in a different perspective, not as to not to not only see the negative things, but also to think about the positive aspect of the world. Because even if we first did the 1994 genocide, but currently the Rwanda is has done a lot in terms of economics, in terms of health. It's among the few countries in Africa that can provide the health insurance. So all of those things, the examples we are seeing in our normal life, those are the ones of resilience. Those are the ones that helped me to become who I am. And also, yes, of course, somehow the covering such kind of stories, I can say it had a negative and a positive impact. A negative impact is that it affected me psychologically. And, after 32 years, maybe it's not normal to talk such kind of stories and to cry. Someone will tell that, we say that, but, um, journalists have no psychological support, no free psychological support, so that they can also talk about the traumatic situation they face when they cover stories, which is something I think can be done to heal. It affected me psychologically. At a certain time, I said, no, it's like I lost the taste to cover those bad stories, because it affected me psychologically. But on the other way, it showed me that people suffered a lot, people were killed, but those who are in Rwanda, they have to stand as Rwandese, not as from ethnic E or ethnic A or ethnic B. They have to stand as Rwandese. The Rwandanity or Rwandity, being a Rwandese, for me, ndi Umunyarwanda, being a Rwandese has more powerful meaning than being in ethnic A or ethnic B or ethnic C. For me, this is something I learned from covering such kind of stories. It really helped me to be strong. And also, there are some people who know only the story of their village. But for us journalists, we know the story of the country. I can know what happened in Eastern Province because I have seen them. So somehow it shaped you. It shaped you, and it allows you to be resilient. Yeah.
As you've said, it allows you to be resilient. In that word, how do you define resilience in your own words?
Me, I think resilience is the capacity to face the past and to take action to change your history. This is what I can, to take action and change your history. Because if your past is bad, you cannot stay focused on what happened, because what happened, we cannot change it. But you can change the future, and you take action to change the future in a better way. For me, that is being resilient, because you refuse. Our president, when he launched this memorial period, he said, Rwandese will not accept to die twice. So be resilient to say, I have faced this challenge, but I can move forward and try to learn from my past. Being resilient is to learn from your past, to take lessons and to take action to change your future in a better way, and to not commit the same mistakes, but to try to take your mistakes and convert them into strength. Yeah, this is what I can call a resilient person.
Thank you so much. Maybe for the young people who are watching outside there and maybe have other mental or physical, whatever the struggles they have, what would you want them to hold on to as like a young person?
First of all, they had to value their life. The fact that they are alive, they live, that is the first investment for them, because they are young people who passed in 1994 genocide, and even in the war. Yes, there are many people who died, and we count now 1 million of Tutsi who were killed, but you are still, now currently you are alive. That is the first investment you have. You have to value your life, first of all, and not tarnish your life by drugs and the other misconducts, habits we are seeing, drugs, alcohol. Don't abuse those things, because the fact that you are living, it is very, very, very important. You can achieve many things, because after 1994 I had no house, I had nothing. The only house I had before was destroyed. I had no house, I had nothing, nothing. But now I have achieved many things. I have achieved many things. I had a family, but I have lost many people, my colleagues, my neighbors, my family relatives. But in 32 years, I have more than one house. I have lands. I have properties. So in only 32 years, when a child is born today, 32 years, it's not long. So in 32 years, you can do many things. So I have my own business. So you see, in 32 years, you can do many things. When I was on 000, we used to receive salaries like they did in 1994. We're not paid salaries. We used to have oil, beans, and maize to eat. No salaries, but we worked. But now I can eat anything. I can have. I have many things I have achieved in 32 years. 32 years, it's not long. In 32 years, you can change many things. Country of Rwanda was on 000, but in 32 years, look at what Rwanda is now. It's a lot. So a lesson to young people is that if you want to change your situation, you are the only driver of your life. There is no one who will drive your life except you. But if you want other people to drive your life, they will drive your life where they want, but not where you want as a young person. So you are the only driver of your life. Don't abuse other things that can affect your destination, can stop your destination, because the life is a journey. Whenever you are born, the journey starts. So don't allow anyone to drive your life. This is a lesson I can give to young people. Don't give up. Challenges will come. Even the Bible says this, challenges will come, but you have to look for solutions. And solutions are opportunities, sometimes are always there. Young people, they like to focus on doors that are closed, but they don't open eyes to see other doors that are open. One door can open, but other doors one door can close, but other open. So you young people, they have to not focus on things of the past, but try to look for solution. I like this rich person, Alibaba. He failed many times, but he didn't give up. he always looked for solution. So I encourage young people to think about what happened in this Rwanda 1994 genocide. To also, and the genocide was executed by young people because politicians use the young people. So they have to change that image of what their fellow did in 1994. They have to show the difference and also learn from the past and try to make their future more brighter than their past.
All right. So, coming back again to how Rwanda is right now and other countries, what would you tell other countries outside that Rwanda came out literally out of nothing? And now it's one of the countries that people are talking about, not just in Africa but worldwide. If it's just being neat, if it's just security, if it's all about everything, Rwanda is one of the top countries that is being talked about. So what would you tell other countries that maybe are facing the same challenges? Maybe it could not be genocide, but other challenges that they are facing. What would you tell them?
What I can say is that they have the solutions within their countries. Whenever the struggle, the challenges they are facing, those countries, they have to know that Rwanda was on 0, 0, 0, low level 1994. But look at Rwanda now. There are people who believed in the future of Rwanda in 1994 who said this country can change. So we need also those leaders in different countries who love their people, who think first about their people before thinking about themselves. This is what we are lacking in Africa. People, we have such kind of leaders who first think about themselves before thinking about the citizen. So we need leaders who understand who are visionary, who can have a vision of their countries. That is first. Second, Rwanda is an example because Rwanda also believed in that. Because if you don't have a dream, if you don't have a vision of where you want to be, it means that you can be lost in the journey. So Rwanda had the vision, and Rwanda, when our leaders are talking about Rwanda, they don't compare to other countries that are small. They want to achieve what those big countries have achieved. They will say, no, look at Qatar. They will talk about those China, those big yes, powerful countries. So you cannot compare yourself to someone who is weak. Compare yourself to someone who is strong, so that you can also be like that person. This is the second reason. Third one, it's time for let me talk about Africa. It's time for Africans to start to think about how they can find African solutions for African people. You know, when you assess natural resources, they remain only in Africa. But when it comes to Africa to negotiate with those people who need our resources, we are at the weak position. So I think it's time for Africa to position itself and start to negotiate with those rich people so that our resources are well utilized. Otherwise, we remain poor. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda, there are many times Rwanda was people took sanctions or punishment to Rwanda, but Rwanda found its own solutions. So I think African people, they have to look for African solutions. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria is the producer of petrol. And now, after only 1 month of war between the USA and Iran, they cannot give petrol to the country. That's me, I cannot understand. Maybe Rwanda, we are a landlocked country. We cannot even access to petrol. Maybe I can understand. But how African countries who produce petrol cannot process the petrol on the African continent so that whenever any problem comes like the one we are facing, it is not affecting Africans. Remember in 2019 when COVID came, Africa suffered to access to vaccine. Then our president said, I want an industry of producing vaccine from Rwanda. here.
Yeah.
And now that project is being implemented. If we can find African leaders who can provide the African solution to Rwanda, to Africans, and that will be good. No, I'm telling you, we have the youngest generation. We have resources,
Yes.
natural resources, petrol, wood, many things, minerals. They are from here, but we remain poor.
Poor.
It means it's a problem of mindset. If you have people with a large mind, if you have leaders who want really the good of their people, solutions can be found here in Africa by Africans and for Africans.
All right, as we go to the closing, I would finally want you to tell us, what do you want your story to be remembered? Or how do you want people to remember your story?
Me, I want people to remember me as someone who is a hard worker. I really like working, hard worker.
Yeah.
Someone who is who give value to anyone, even those people. In our normal life, there are those people who are doing this kind of job, like a cleaner, like gatekeeper. Sometimes you don't value people.
Yes.
But me, I'm someone who always learn from those people who are not considered in the society. You see. So I want to be remembered as someone who value everyone, who can see a person as someone who, as let me give an example of cooking. When we cook, we put many ingredients.
Yes.
Me, I see any person like an ingredient
Exactly.
of this world. So this is how I want people to value people, and also someone who has fighted for women in the media to be given space, because also I keep and I have started to fight so that women in media can be valued, can be given leadership, because it's not easy.
Yes.
To be given say light coming in their eyes.
Yes.
In their eyes, when they go back, say, yeah, you are able to go and they find a job. You can create, can buy a packet of maize and you do mandas. You can you see you. I want to be remembered as someone who inspired people. Yes, and also who is I love kids. I don't know. I love young people, and someone also who like to be with young generation. I like to be with the young generation because they always update me about this slang. They have always new things to tell me. Yes,
that's true. All right, I'm actually one of your fans, and that's why when you came,
Yeah.
actually we met in the mentorship of the mental. And then that's when I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I love this woman. And really, you inspire me a lot. I know other people are going to be inspired by this story. And really, it has been, I don't know how to say it. It's not just an interview, it has been a conversation. It has been something that I know I'm going to learn through them. Whenever I'm going to be watching this, I'll be like, yes, I want to be like Solange, Madam Solange. I love you, honestly.
Even you can be above. Thank you so much.
Beyond, yes. I really admire your story. I admire your ways of doing things. And maybe if you have any other thing that to add on this, because this is the end of our conversation. And
I want to give a message to female journalists, because I know that female journalists are always struggling in the newsroom. I want to encourage them to be proactive. Sometimes in the media we see our comrades, male counterpart, who are trying to, when you are in the school, you see they are trying to look for a job, but we see women, female students, like they are not really looking for opportunities. So I want to encourage female journalists to stay in this industry. It's a good industry, but you cannot be rich in one day. You have to work hard. You have to sacrifice many things so that you stay in media as a woman. Because sometimes when they got married, they their husband, no, this is not a good
career.
job. But they have also, yes, because you are missing at home on Easter, on Christmas, because you have to stories. And some in the African society, some husbands don't like that. So I would like to tell to young female journalists to always discuss this before even getting in a relationship, to see if your husband will prevent you to do what you love. So I don't know, you will sacrifice maybe what you love to him, but if you can explain that I love media, I want to stay in media, if you explain well, the husband or the partner will accept. So I want to tell to female journalists that we need more women in this industry. It's a male-dominated industry until now. We need really more female journalists, and we need more female leaders in media sector. So this is what I want to say, and also to encourage our colleagues male to also be supportive, but also our journalists, female journalists, to be proactive, even to embrace sectors where we see only men, like sports news. We see many men, so we want women to go in that. Science, technology, such kind of stories that are covered only by men. We want to see women covering such kind of story. This is what I want to see as a change in the future, and maybe in some 10 years to come, I want to see this change.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for trusting us with your story, not me alone, and outside world. They're the ones who are going to be watching and the ones who are watching right now. And I think it has come, or we have come to the conclusion. I've been your host, Ayak. You can call me Miss Kaya if you want. If Ayak is hard, that is. So this is the end of it. But until next time, stay human, stay kind, and more stories like this are going to be there. And I hope you all will enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.